Hello, my name is Camden and welcome back to my channel. It feels like such a long time since the last time I filmed a reading vlog, although I think it's only actually been like a month or a month and a half at this point. Even so, I definitely am feeling a bit rusty, so forgive me if it takes me a little while to get back into the groove of vlogging. That being said, I am super excited about today's video. It's one that I have been planning on filming for quite some time, and that is exploring my Finnish heritage through books. Like most Americans, I am a mixture of many different cultures and backgrounds, but the one that I identify with most closely and the one where I get my last name from is Finland. I also know the most about my Finnish heritage because my aunt did like a school project where she interviewed my great-great-grandfather, and we still have those records today and his account of what immigration to the States was like. So when people ask me where my family is from, the short answer is always Finland. So in this video, I'm going to be reading books about Finland. I'm going to be reading a book by a Finnish author, and I'm also just going to be trying to learn a little bit more about my heritage, maybe try some Finnish recipes and things like that, and just overall a Camden style vlog. The book that I'm going to be reading in today's video that is by a Finnish author is one that I've talked about a few times, but I have never mentioned to you before that is by a Finnish author, and that is The Witch Hunter by Max Seek. This book is a super interesting thriller slash possibly horror, and it has to do with the wife of an author being killed in a way that reflects his most best-selling novel. We are having a really beautiful snowstorm right now, so it feels like the perfect time to start filming this video and also to read a really creepy thriller. So I will check in with you in a little while when I have a reading update. Don't look at my messy room. Hello, I am here with a reading update for The Witch Hunter by Max Seek. I am at 120 pages into this book, so I'm basically about a third of the way in, and I have some thoughts for you so far. I'll start by giving you a quick summary of what has happened so far without giving you any spoilers. So Basically, this book starts off with the wife of this writer getting murdered. We're following from her perspective as she kind of realizes that there is an intruder in her house, and then cuts away to where her husband is at a book signing and gets the news that his wife is dead. Not only is she dead, but her body has been staged in a way that perfectly reflects a murder scene in his very popular best-selling series, the Witch Hunter series. Apart from these opening couple of scenes, we are pretty much exclusively following from the perspective of the detective and the lead investigator on the case, who is named Jessica, and also following a lot of the people underneath her who are also investigating this crime. So this is much less of like a typical thriller where you're following family members and whoever the killer is going to be contained within the characters that we meet in the book. And this one is like pretty much 100% a police procedural novel, following Jessica and the rest of the investigators as they're going down these different rabbit holes. Could it be the publisher of the Witch Hunter series because they've just sold like hundreds of thousands of copies of this book? Could it be like a terrorist organization? There's like a lot of different rabbit holes that we're following her down, and at this point in the book I have absolutely no reason to believe that the murderer is going to be anyone that we've met in the book, which is pretty much what a thriller does. Like, as I was reading this, I was kind of noticing like how different this story was than the thrillers that I typically consume, because usually you're trying to look at a very small cast of characters and figure out which person was the killer, because we've obviously been introduced to the killer in the novel. However, in this book, it's pretty much the complete opposite. There's not a lot of side characters outside of the police force, so the likelihood is we don't know who the killer is, and we're just gonna follow this investigation to the end and just be interested to find out who the killer was without probably a lot of plot twists. Honestly, this book feels way more similar to like true crime that I've listened to in the past than it does to any thriller novel I've ever read before, and I'm okay with that. I'm quite enjoying this book. I like the author's writing style. It did take me a little while to get used to some of the translations in this book, because this book was originally written in Finnish and was translated. I will say, like, this being like a detective story, there is kind of like this element of like added drama, if that makes sense, where like Jessica will come out with like these really like cool lines, and like that's where the chapter ends, and it does feel like a little bit like dramatic, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, I'm enjoying this book a lot. I'm enjoying the like little inserts of Finnish culture and Finnish landmarks and things like that as well. I wouldn't say this book is like teaching me a lot about Finland, but it is interesting to like see so many Finnish names and last names in this book, and also like hear about different places and things like that. Where we're at in this story as well, it's definitely clear that whoever is committing these murders is part of a group, and there's more than one perpetrator, and we also have had multiple murders at this point. I think there have been 4. There's definitely also like a witchcraft element and kind of ritualistic killings of these victims. It's all very interesting. I feel like without that element, reading a straight up detective story wouldn't really be my thing, but it almost has like a horror element because of the way that they're trying to figure out who this group of people are and what they're doing, and like what the purpose of these killings are, and it's very spooky, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. This is one of a series which I just discovered. I think there's 3 books so far, and I kind of feel like I probably will continue depending on how this book ends and where we end up going in this story. That is the update on that, and I will be back when I have some more thoughts. Bye. was bamboozled.
We don't know who the killer is without probably a lot of plot twists.
I was wrong about literally everything, and I stand corrected. This book, though, was absolutely excellent. I'm so excited to read the next 2 books in this series. Obviously, with a thriller, it's really hard to kind of give you a full review of everything that happened without spoiling the ending of a book. I forgot to mention this in the first part of this review that I filmed, but throughout the book we're following Jessica on this vacation that she took to Italy many years ago and her interactions with a man that she met there. And throughout the whole book I am of course wondering if he has anything to do with the crimes that are happening in present day, and I'm not gonna spoil for you whether or not he was involved. However, I'm just gonna say I like how the author handled that storyline in the end. And I feel like it gave us a lot of insight into Jessica as a character. So while I wasn't super enjoying reading those sections at the time because I had no idea what they had to do with the central story, I liked how it all wrapped up. I really hate reviewing thriller novels sometimes because I always want to just go through and like talk to you about everything that happened and what I was thinking throughout the book, and there's just too many parts that you can spoil in a thriller, so there's really not much more to talk about. I love this book. You should definitely go read it and then, I don't know, become my friend so we can talk about it. But anyway, that is the deets on this one. Now, the other book that I got for this video is Finland, Land of Lakes. This one I got on Book Depository a while ago, and I thought it was going to be like a stereotypical guidebook or like tell you some places to go in Finland, but it really just had like a couple pages of information, and then the rest of the book is like really beautiful pictures of Finland. So I did enjoy reading this. I read it last night, but I wouldn't say like you should get this book if you want to know more about Finland. This one is really cool. Basically it was showing how trees and paper are one of Finland's like primary industries. So these are all trees that have been felled and are being sent down the river. I also thought this one was really beautiful. This is a castle that has like an opera festival in it every year apparently. This one is just beautiful. And also Finland has 60,000 lakes in it, so another gorgeous one. This whole section was about the Sami people and how they are primarily reindeer herders, and it was very interesting to read about. Of course, most countries have a history of oppressing the native people, and Finland is no different. This is so beautiful. I love their traditional clothing. It's so cool looking. So yeah, this book was not exactly what I was expecting going into it, but I still found it really interesting. I learned a few things and I really enjoyed looking at the pictures, so I'm glad I got it. And it also came with some random newspaper clippings, so that's cool. I don't know. And the last thing I wanted to do before closing out this video was take you through some of my Duolingo Finnish course that I've been taking. I've been doing this on and off for like a year, and I'm really not very good at it because when I say a year, I mean like every 4 months I do a lesson. So I'm not very far.
Anna ja Hilla, te olette nyt naimisissa, onnea.
That was so many words. Olette naimisissa. Naimisissa. Onnea. Onnea. That means you are married. Congratulations.
Te olette aina yhdessä.
Yhdessä. Te olette aina yhdessä. Does that sound native? I think that's enough for now. I know how to introduce myself. Hyvää päivää, that means hello. Minun nimeni on Camden, that means my name is Camden. And then you say hauska tutustua, that means nice to meet you. And I also know that I am suomalainen, that means Finnish. That is pretty much the extent of my Finnish knowledge so far. I am trying to be a little more dedicated to it, so I'm hoping I can continue on, and maybe by the time I go on my trip to Finland many years from now, I'll be able to speak a little bit more. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate all of your support and you staying until the end. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe and comment, and I will see you all next week with a new video. Goodbye!